The call time was 4:30 a.m. I was alone in my trailer on set, running lines for a scene we'd shoot in an hour, one of those moments where the character I play speaks words that feel heavier than the script. But my mind wasn't on the scene. It was on a question that had been circling for weeks, growing louder in the quiet moments between takes, in traffic, in the space before sleep. I'd been reading the same passages everyone reads when they think about the end times. Matthew 24, 1 Thessalonians, Revelation, the usual suspects. And I kept feeling like I was missing something not in the text, but in the translation from ancient words to modern life. So that morning, sitting in that trailer with bad coffee and good lighting, I asked out loud, Jesus, what do most believers completely miss about the rapture? I wasn't expecting an answer. Not really. Maybe I was just thinking out loud, the way actors do when they're trying to find their way into a character's headspace. But then the air in the trailer changed. Not dramatically, not like a movie, just present. The way a room feels different when someone you love walks in. Jonathan, not audible, not imaginary. Somewhere in between, the way you hear your own name in a dream and know it's real. You asked the right question. He said, most of my people are watching the wrong things. I set down my script, my hands were shaking slightly. They're watching calendars. He continued, watching headlines, watching Israel, watching Europe, watching technology. All of it matters, none of it is the point. Then what is? I whispered. They're preparing for an event, he said, when they should be preparing for a person. That sentence hit me like a stage light coming on. Suddenly I could see how much of the conversation around the rapture was about timing, sequence, tribulation theories, and how little of it was about him. The rapture, he said, is not a panic exit, it's a wedding procession, and I'm not coming back for people who got the timeline right. I'm coming back for people who got the relationship right. I grabbed my phone and started typing notes. This felt too important to trust to memory. There are three things, he said, that most believers don't understand about the rapture. If they did, everything would change, not just their theology, but their Tuesday mornings. Tell me, I said. First, the rapture is relational, not transactional. He let that sit for a moment. Most people treat it like a test they need to pass. Get the doctrine right, avoid the wrong sins, be in the right place at the right time. But that's not how I work. I'm not grading papers. I'm gathering family. I thought about all the anxiety I'd seen and felt around this topic. The fear of being left behind, the obsessive calendar watching, the guilt spirals. What does relational readiness look like? I asked. It looks like knowing my voice, he said. Not just knowing about me, knowing me, the way you know someone you talk to every day. He showed me something then, not a vision exactly, more like a memory that wasn't mine. A shepherd calling sheep. The sheep didn't need to understand the shepherd's schedule or his route planning. They just needed to recognize his voice and follow. That's the first thing most people miss, he said. They're trying to decode my calendar when I'm asking them to know my voice. What's the second thing? I asked. The rapture is about readiness, not perfection. I felt relief wash over me even before he explained. People think they need to be sinless when I return. They think one wrong thought, one bad day, one unconfessed sin will disqualify them. But that's not how this works. I didn't die to make you perfect before I return. I died to make you mine. Then what does readiness mean? I asked. It means you're still saying yes, he said, still turning toward me when you drift, still choosing love when it costs you something, still showing up to the relationship even when you feel like you're failing at it. He paused, and I could feel the weight of what he was about to say. Readiness is not about your performance. It's about your posture. Are you facing toward me or away from me? That's the only question that matters. I thought about the prodigal son, how the father ran to meet him while he was still far off, how the son's readiness wasn't about being cleaned up, it was about coming home. And the third thing? I asked. The rapture is about partnership, not passivity. This one surprised me. Many people think readiness means sitting around waiting, avoiding the world, counting down the days. But I didn't save you from the world, I sent you into it. I'm not returning for people who checked out. I'm returning for people who stayed engaged. What does that look like practically? I asked. It looks like excellence at your job, he said. Kindness to your neighbor. creativity in your work, faithfulness in your relationships. It looks like building, creating, serving, loving, right up until the moment I return. He showed me another image, a servant working in a field, fully engaged in the task, but with one ear always tuned to the sound of the master's return. Not anxious, not distracted, just ready. The best way to prepare for my return, he said, is to be found doing what I asked you to do. I looked at the time, 5:47 a.m. I had 43 minutes before I needed to be in makeup. How do I live this? I asked. How do I help others live this? Start with 3 practices, he said. Simple enough for anyone. Deep enough to change everything. I grabbed my pen. First, give me the first 15 minutes of every day. Not your phone, not the news, not your to-do list. Me. Just sit with me. Read something I said. Talk to me like I'm actually here, because I am. Second, look for one person each day to serve, not in some grand way. Just notice who's in front of you and ask, how can I make their day lighter? That's readiness in action. Third, do your work with excellence. Whatever your hands find to do it as if you're doing it for me, because you are. Don't phone it in because you think the world is ending. Show the world what my kingdom looks like by how you work. He stood, or I felt him stand, if that makes sense. Jonathan, most believers are preparing for the rapture like it's a fire drill. I want them to prepare for it like it's a wedding. There's a difference. What's the difference? I asked. Fire drills are about fear and escape, he said. Weddings are about love and union. One makes you anxious, the other makes you ready. The knock on my trailer door made me jump. 5 minutes, Jonathan. I have to go, I said. I know, he said, but I'll be here when you come back. That's the point. I'm always here. The question is, are you? The presence lifted, but the weight of the conversation stayed. I walked to set that morning different than I'd walked to set 1,000 times before, not because I knew more about prophecy or end times, but because I understood something I'd been missing. The rapture isn't about escaping a dying world. It's about being ready to meet a living Savior, and readiness isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing His voice, staying in the relationship, and doing the work He gave you right up until the moment He calls you home. 3 days after that conversation in the trailer, I was in my apartment trying to practice what he'd told me. 15 minutes. Just sit with him. Listen. I set my phone face down on the counter, made coffee, sat in the chair by the window where the morning light comes in at an angle that makes everything look like a painting, and I waited. 5 minutes in, my mind was already cataloging the day, emails to return, a script to review, a meeting at 2, groceries I needed to pick up. I kept pulling my attention back, but it felt like trying to hold water in my hands. This is harder than I thought, I said out loud. I know, he said. There it was again, that presence that's not quite audible but more real than most sounds. Why is it so hard to hear you? I asked. I'm trying. I'm sitting here, I want to hear you. But it feels like I'm talking to myself. Because you're listening for the wrong thing, he said. I opened my eyes. What do you mean? You're listening for words, he said. I'm speaking in presence. That stopped me. Most people think hearing me means getting clear sentences in their head, he continued, like divine dictation, and sometimes I do speak that way. But most of the time I speak in something quieter, something you feel before you hear. How do I recognize it? I asked. Let me show you the difference, he said. And then he walked me through something I've come back to dozens of times since. He called it the 3 voices. The 3 voices. There are 3 voices that speak in your inner world, he said. Your voice, the enemy's voice, and mine. Most believers can't tell them apart because they've never learned the signatures. Signatures? I asked. Every voice has a signature, a pattern, a tone, a direction it pushes you toward. Learn the signatures, and you'll never confuse them again. He started with the easiest one to identify, the enemy's voice. The enemy's voice, he said, always has the same signature: accusation, condemnation, and despair. It sounds like this. And suddenly I could hear it not audibly, but in my memory. All the times I'd heard these thoughts and assumed they were just being honest with myself. You're not good enough. You'll never change. You're fooling everyone. God is disappointed in you. You've blown it too many times, you're too far gone, why even try? Notice the pattern, he said. It's always vague, always heavy, always hopeless. It never gives you a specific next step, it just crushes you under the weight of your failure. I nodded. I knew that voice, intimately. The enemy doesn't want you to change, he said. He wants you to give up. So his voice always leads to paralysis, not action, shame, not repentance, hiding, not returning. What about my own voice? I asked. Your voice, he said, is the voice of your own thoughts, desires, fears, and reasoning. It's not evil. It's just human. It sounds like this. Again, I could hear it in my memory. I should do this. I want that. I'm worried about this. I think the best plan is. I deserve. I need. I feel. Your voice, he said, is usually focused on self-protection, self-advancement, or self-comfort. Not always. Sometimes your thoughts align with mine, but your default mode is self-focused. That's not a criticism, it's just how humans are wired after the fall. How do I tell the difference between my voice and yours? I asked. That's where the third signature comes in. He said, my voice, he said, has a completely different signature. It's specific, it's kind, and it's directional. It sounds like this. And I heard it, or felt it, or remembered it. All the times I'd sensed something that felt different from my usual mental chatter. Call your friend. He needs to hear from you today. Apologize to her. Don't wait. Give that money away. Trust me with your budget. Stop scrolling. Come sit with me. You're forgiven. Stop punishing yourself. Notice the difference, he said. My voice is specific. It tells you exactly what to do next. It's kind. Even when it's correcting you, it's never crushing you. And it's directional. It always moves you toward love, toward me, toward others. I sat with that for a moment. So when I hear something specific, kind, and directional, that's me, he said. And when you hear something vague, heavy, and paralyzing, that's the enemy, I finished. And when you hear something self-focused and strategic, that's just me, I said. Exactly, he said. Now you know. The signatures. Why sincere believers struggle. But here's why so many sincere believers struggle to hear me, he said. They've never been taught to distinguish the voices. So they assume every thought in their head is either them or me. They don't realize there's a third voice in the mix, constantly trying to drown me out, and they end up, I started, obeying the wrong voice, he finished. Or worse, they hear me clearly, but they dismiss it as just their own thoughts because they don't trust that I actually speak to them. That hit close to home. How many times had I sensed something, a nudge to reach out to someone, a conviction to change something, a gentle correction, and dismissed it as probably just me? The enemy loves that, he said. He loves when my people don't trust that I speak to them, because then he can speak to them and they'll think it's their own conscience. Or I can speak to them and they'll ignore it as wishful thinking. How do I get better at this? I asked. Practice, he said simply. Start small. When you sense something that feels like it might be me specific, kind, directional, test it, act on it, see what happens. What if I get it wrong? I asked. Then you learn, he said. I'm not going to punish you for trying to hear me and missing it. I'm going to help you calibrate. The only way you get better at hearing my voice is by practicing listening for it. The 15-minute practice. This is why I asked you to give me 15 minutes every morning, he said. Not because I need your time, but because you need the practice. Walk me through it again, I said. 15 minutes, he said. 3 movements. 5 minutes each. First 5 minutes, start by blessing me, he said. Not because I need your affirmation, but because it reorients your heart. It reminds you who I am before you start asking me for things. What does that sound like? I asked. Simple, he said. Just speak truth about me out loud. Jesus, you are good. You are faithful. You are present. You are kind. You are powerful. You are wise. Whatever is true. Say it until you feel it. Why out loud? I asked. Because your body needs to participate, he said. Faith isn't just mental. When you speak truth out loud, you're involving your whole self, mind, body, spirit. It anchors the truth deeper. Second 5 minutes, behold. Then read something I said, he continued. Not a lot, just a few verses. A psalm, a passage from the Gospels. Something I actually said. And then? I asked. Then stop, he said. Don't rush through it, read it slowly. Out loud if possible. And then ask me, what do you want me to see here? And wait? I asked. And wait, he confirmed. Don't move on until something catches you, a word, a phrase, an image, something that makes you pause. That's me highlighting something for you. What if nothing catches me? I asked. Then read it again, he said. Slower. I promise you, if you're actually paying attention, something will always catch you. My word is alive. It doesn't return void. Third 5 minutes. Bring me your real self, he said. Not the version you think I want to see. The actual you. The worried you. The frustrated you. The confused you. The tired you. Just talk to you, I asked. Just talk to me, he said. Tell me what's actually going on in your heart, not what you think you should feel, what you actually feel. I already know. I'm just waiting for you to be honest about it. And then? I asked. And then listen, he said. Not for a booming voice, not for perfect clarity. Just listen for the next right thing, the specific kind directional nudge. It might be a thought, it might be a feeling, it might be a memory. It might be a sense of peace about something you were anxious about. That's it? I asked. That's it, he said. 15 minutes. Bless, behold, bring. Do that every day for 30 days, and you'll be amazed at how much clearer my voice becomes. The real reason people don't hear. But here's the real reason most believers don't hear me, he said, and his tone shifted slightly. Not harsh, just honest. They don't actually want to. I felt defensive immediately. That's not fair. People are desperate to hear from you. They're desperate for me to confirm what they already want to do, he said gently. That's different from actually wanting to hear me. He let that land. Think about it, he said. If you really heard my voice clearly, if you knew beyond doubt that I was speaking to you, what would I probably say? I thought about it, and I knew. Forgive him. Call her. Give that away. Stop that. Start this. Go there. Trust me with that fear. Let go of that control. Exactly, he said, reading my thoughts. I would probably ask you to do something uncomfortable. Something that costs you something. Something that requires trust. And most people, he continued, would rather have the comfort of uncertainty than the discomfort of obedience. They'd rather say, I'm not sure if that's God, than say, I know that's God and I don't want to do it. That stung because it was true. So they stay in the fog, he said, not because I'm not speaking, but because clarity would require response, and response would require change. And change is scary. How do I get past that, I asked. By starting small, he said. By obeying the small things I ask you to do, the text I prompt you to send, the apology I nudge you to make, the money I ask you to give, the scroll I ask you to stop. And when I do, I asked, then you build trust, he said. Not just my trust in you, your trust in me. You learn that my voice leads to life, not death, to freedom, not bondage, to joy, not regret. And then, I asked? And then hearing me becomes natural, he said. Not because you got better at some spiritual technique, but because you know me, the way sheep know their shepherd's voice. Not by studying it, by following it. I sat there as the morning light shifted across the floor. My coffee was cold. I'd been sitting there for 40 minutes, not 15. One more question, I said. Ask, he said. What if people read this and think I'm crazy? What if they think I'm making this up? He was quiet for a moment, then, some will, he said, but others will recognize my voice in what you're sharing. Because I'm saying to them what I'm saying to you, and they've been waiting for permission to believe that I actually speak. So I should share this? I asked. I'm not asking you to convince anyone, he said. I'm asking you to tell the truth about what you're experiencing. Let me handle the rest. I nodded. Okay, good, he said. Now go do your work. And pay attention today. I'm going to speak to you at least 3 times. See if you can catch it. The presence lifted, but the awareness stayed. And he was right. That day, I heard him 3 times. Once in a conversation with a friend, when I suddenly knew I should ask about his marriage. Once in traffic, when I felt the nudge to pray for the person who cut me off instead of cursing them. And once that evening, when I was about to send an email and felt the clear check. Wait, sleep on it. Send it tomorrow. 3 times. Specific, kind, directional. I was learning the signature. A week into the 15-minute practice, something shifted. Not dramatically, more like the way your eyes adjust to a dark room. Gradually, you start seeing what was always there. I was sitting in the same chair, same time, same routine. Bless, behold, bring. But this morning felt different, heavier, like there was something he wanted to say that I wasn't going to like. Jonathan, he said, and I could hear the tenderness in it. We need to talk about how you've been treating me. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? You come to me like I'm a consultant, he said, not a companion. I wanted to argue, but something in me knew he was right before he even explained. Walk me through your typical prayer, he said. I thought about it. I thank you for things. I ask you for things. I confess things. Exactly. He interrupted gently. You thank me for services rendered. You ask me for services needed. You confess failures in service. But when do you just sit with me? The question hung in the air. When do you talk to me about something that has nothing to do with what you need or what you've done wrong? He continued. When do you ask me what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm excited about? I realized I couldn't remember the last time I'd done that. This is the second thing most believers don't understand about the rapture, he said. They think readiness is about behavior modification, checking boxes, avoiding sin, doing the right things. But I'm not coming back for people who manage their behavior well. I'm coming back for people who know me. I do know you, I said. But even as I said it, I heard how defensive it sounded. You know about me, he said. You know my resume, my accomplishments, my teachings. But do you know me, the way you know your closest friend? The consultant versus companion test. Let me show you the difference, he said. Answer these questions honestly. When was the last time you talked to me about something that wasn't a problem or a request? I thought hard. I couldn't remember. When was the last time you asked me a question just because you were curious about my perspective, not because you needed an answer for a decision? Again, nothing came to mind. When was the last time you told me about something that made you happy, just to share it with me? I started to feel the weight of what he was showing me. When was the last time you sat with me in silence? Not because you were waiting for direction, but just because you wanted to be near me. I don't think I ever have. I admitted quietly. That's the consultant relationship, he said. You call me when you need something. You update me on your failures. You ask for advice. But you don't just spend time with me. How did I miss this? I asked. Because most of what you've been taught about prayer is transactional, he said. Ask and you shall receive. Confess and be forgiven. Pray without ceasing. All true. All important. But if that's all prayer is, then I'm just a very powerful resource you access when needed. He paused. I didn't die to be your resource, he said. I died to be your companion. What companionship actually looks like. Show me what that looks like, I said. Practically. Because I don't think I know how to do this. It's simpler than you think, he said. And harder. Because it requires you to slow down. He walked me through what he called the 3 levels of relationship. Level 1, transactional. This is where most believers live, he said. They come to me with needs, problems, and confessions. The relationship is defined by what they need from me. Prayer is a to-do list. Bible reading is information gathering. Church is obligation. There's nothing wrong with bringing me your needs, he continued. I want you to. But if that's the only time we interact, we don't have a relationship. We have a transaction. Level 2, conversational. This is where some believers get to, he said. They start talking to me throughout the day, not just in formal prayer times. They include me in their thoughts. They ask my opinion. They tell me what they're experiencing. This is better, he said, much better, because now I'm not just the emergency contact. I'm part of the daily rhythm. But there's still something missing. Level 3, companionship. This is what I'm inviting you into, he said. This is where you don't just talk to me, you're with me. You're aware of My presence not just when you're praying, but when you're working, driving, eating, resting. You include me, not because you need something, but because you want me there. How do I get there? I asked. By practicing presence, he said. Not just practicing prayer, the practice of presence. Here's what I want you to try, he said. For the next week, practice including me in moments that have nothing to do with asking for something. He gave me specific examples. Morning coffee. When you make your coffee, talk to me about it. Not in some super spiritual way. Just, this coffee is good. I'm grateful for it. What do you think about coffee? Yes, I have opinions about coffee. I created the beans. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Driving. When you're driving, instead of listening to podcasts or music or the news, just talk to me about what you're seeing, what you're thinking, what you're noticing. That sunset is beautiful. Did you paint that one yourself or did you delegate? I like when you notice my work. Work, when you're working, invite me into it, not just bless this work prayers. Actually, talk to me about what you're creating. I'm trying to figure out this scene. What do you think? How would you play this moment? I have thoughts about your work. I'm interested in it. Meals. When you eat, don't just bless the food and move on. Actually enjoy it with me. This is really good. Thank you for taste buds. Thank you for the person who grew this food. I'm there at the table with you. I want to share the meal. Mundane moments. When you're doing laundry, washing dishes, waiting in line, the moments you usually fill with distraction, try filling them with my presence instead. Not with formal prayers. Just awareness. You're here with me, aren't you? Even in this boring moment. That's wild. That's it? I asked. Just talk to you like you're actually there. I am actually there, he said. That's the point. I'm not waiting for you to enter some special spiritual state to access me. I'm already with you. I'm just waiting for you to notice why this changes everything about the rapture. Here's why this matters for the rapture, he said, and his tone shifted to something more urgent. When I return, I'm not going to ask you how much you knew about prophecy. I'm not going to quiz you on your eschatology. I'm going to look at you and ask one question. Do you know me? He let that sink in. And you'll know the answer immediately, he continued. Not because you'll have to think about it, but because knowing someone isn't intellectual. It's experiential. You either know them or you don't. The 5 foolish virgins in my parable, he said, weren't foolish because they got the timing wrong. They were foolish because they didn't know the bridegroom. When he arrived, he said, I don't know you. Not, I don't recognize your theology. Not, I don't approve of your behavior. I don't know you. That's terrifying, I said quietly. It should be, he said, but it should also be clarifying, because it means readiness isn't complicated. It's relational. Do you know me? Do I know you? Have we spent time together? Have we built a relationship? And if we have, I asked, then when I return it won't be a stranger showing up, he said. It will be the person you've been talking to every day, the one you've been including in your mundane moments, the one you've been sharing your life with. It will feel like coming home, he said, not like facing a judge. The question that reveals everything. Let me ask you something, he said. If I showed up at your door right now, physically, visibly, and said, let's spend the day together, what would you do? I thought about it honestly. I'd probably panic about my schedule. I have a call at 2. I need to. Exactly, he said, not unkindly. You'd treat me like an interruption to your real life, because you haven't learned to include me in your real life. That hurt because it was true. But imagine if you'd been practicing presence, he said. If you'd been including me in your coffee, your drives, your work, your meals. Then when I showed up physically, it wouldn't be an interruption. It would just be the continuation of what we'd already been doing. The relationship would already be there. That's what I want, he said. Not people who are surprised to see me, people who've been expecting me, not because they calculated the date, but because they've been walking with me all along. The 30-day companionship challenge, here's what I want you to do, he said. For the next 30 days, practice companionship, not just consultation. He gave me a simple framework. Morning, the 15-minute foundation. Keep doing the 15 minutes, he said. Bless, behold, bring. That's your foundation. That's where you tune your ear to my voice and orient your heart toward mine. Throughout the day, the 5 inclusions, 5 times during the day, include me in a moment that has nothing to do with asking for something. Just talk to me. Notice me. Acknowledge my presence. He suggested setting 5 alarms on my phone with simple reminders. 9 a.m., he's here. 12 p.m., he's here. 3 p.m., he's here. 6 p.m., he's here. 9 p.m., he's here. When the alarm goes off, he said, just pause for 30 seconds. Notice where you are, what you're doing, and say something to me. Anything. You're here with me right now. That's amazing. I'm stressed about this meeting. Want to walk into it with me? This sandwich is really good. Thanks for inventing flavor. That's it? I asked. That's it, he said. 5 times a day, for 30 seconds, practice noticing my presence. By the end of 30 days, it will start to become automatic. You won't need the alarms anymore. You'll just be aware that I'm with you. Evening. The examine before bed, he said. Do a simple examine. Just 2 questions. When did I sense your presence today? When did I miss you today? Not to beat yourself. 2 up, he said. Just to notice, to pay attention, to train yourself to recognize me. What changes when you practice this? What happens if I actually do this? I asked. For 30 days? Everything changes, he said simply. Not your circumstances necessarily, but your experience of your circumstances. Because you'll stop feeling alone in them. You'll stop treating prayer like a 911 call, he continued, because you'll realize I'm already in the car with you. You don't need to call me, you just need to talk to me. You'll stop dreading my return, he said, because you won't be meeting a stranger. You'll be reuniting with your closest friend, and you'll understand what I meant when I said, I am with you always, he finished. Not just theologically, experientially. You'll know it in your bones. I sat there for a long time after he stopped speaking. The coffee was cold again. I seemed to be making that a habit, but something had shifted. I could feel it. I wasn't just learning about the rapture anymore. I was learning about relationship, and I was starting to understand that maybe they were the same thing. I set 5 alarms on my phone. 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, each one with the same reminder. He's here. The first one went off 3 hours later while I was reading emails. I almost dismissed it, but then I stopped. You're here, I said out loud to my empty apartment. Right now, while I'm reading boring emails about scheduling. You're actually here. And I felt it, not dramatically, just true. He was here. He'd been here all along. I was just finally starting to notice. 2 weeks into the companionship practice, something unexpected happened. I was on set, in full costume, waiting between takes. The alarm went off. 3 p.m. He's here. I stepped away from the crew, found a quiet corner behind some equipment, and did what I'd been practicing. Just acknowledged his presence. You're here, I said quietly. Even here, on a TV set, in costume. Between takes, you're here. I am, he said. And then, do you know why I'm here? Because you're always with me? I answered, but it came out like a question. Yes, he said. But also because he gestured around at the set, the cameras, the crew. This is part of what I gave you to do. I felt something click into place that I hadn't even realized was misaligned. Most believers, he said, are waiting for me to give them their assignment. They're waiting for the calling, the big reveal, the moment when I tell them what they're supposed to do with their lives. He paused. But they're already standing in it. The third thing most believers miss. This is the third thing most people don't understand about the rapture, he said. They think readiness means waiting, staying alert, watching the signs. But I'm not coming back for people who spent their lives waiting. I'm coming back for people who spent their lives working. Working at what? I asked. At whatever I put in front of them, he said simply. He could see I wasn't quite getting it, so he tried a different angle. What do you think I'm going to ask you when I return? He said. I thought about it. How I lived. Whether I was faithful. If I was ready. I'm going to ask you, he said, what you did with what I gave you. He let that land. Not what you did with what you wished I'd given you. Not what you did with what someone else had. What you did with what I actually put in your hands. The parable nobody talks about, remember the parable of the talents? He asked. Of course, I said, the master gives 3 servants different amounts of money. 2 invest it and double it. 1 buries it out of fear. Right, he said. Now, what's the parable actually about? Being faithful with what God gives us? I offered. Close, he said. It's about this. I'm coming back. And when I do, I'm going to ask what you did with what I gave you. Not whether you kept it safe. Not whether you protected it, what you did with it. The servant who buried his talent, he continued, didn't steal it, didn't waste it, didn't lose it. He kept it perfectly safe. And I called him wicked and lazy. Why? I asked, though I was starting to understand. Because he treated my gift like a burden to be managed instead of a resource to be invested, he said. He was so afraid of doing the wrong thing that he did nothing, and nothing is not neutral. Nothing is failure. He looked at me directly. How many believers do you think are doing the same thing right now? He asked. Sitting on their gifts, their opportunities, their resources, their influence waiting for the right moment or the clear calling or the perfect circumstances while I'm waiting for them to just do something. The myth of the big calling. Here's what most people get wrong, he said. They think I give callings the way Hollywood gives roles. One big break, one defining moment, one clear assignment that makes everything make sense. But that's not how I work, he continued. I give you today, and in today, I give you people, opportunities, resources, and abilities. What you do with today is your calling. But what about the people who do have those big, clear callings, I asked. The pastors, the missionaries, You mean like you? He interrupted gently. I stopped. What? You think your calling is clear because you're an actor playing me on television? He said. But that's not your calling. That's your job. Your calling is what you do with the platform, the influence, the resources, and the opportunities that job creates. He let me sit with that. Your calling, he said, is how you treat the crew member who's having a bad day. It's whether you use your influence to point people toward me or toward yourself. It's what you do with the money you make. It's how you steward the attention you receive. It's whether you're faithful in the small moments when nobody's watching. The job is the context, he said. The calling is the character you bring to it. The 4 questions that reveal your assignment. Let me give you 4 questions, he said. Answer these honestly, and you'll know exactly what I'm asking you to do right now. Question 1. What's in your hand? What resources, abilities, opportunities, or influence do you currently have? He asked. Not what you wish you had, not what you used to have, not what you might have someday. What do you have right now? I thought about it. I have this job, this platform, some money, some influence, some time, some relationships. Good, he said. That's what I've given you. Now, what are you doing with it? Question 2. Who's in front of you? Who has my providence placed in your path? He asked. Not who you wish you could reach. Not who you think you should be ministering to. Who is actually in front of you right now? I thought about the crew, the cast, my neighbors, my friends, my family. Those are your people, he said. Not your only people, but your first people. If you're not faithful to love the people I've put in front of you, why would I give you more? Question 3. What breaks your heart? What injustice, suffering, or brokenness makes you angry or sad? He asked. Not what you think should bother you. What actually bothers you? I thought about it. Loneliness, people feeling unseen, the way the industry chews people up, the way fame isolates people. That's not random, he said. I gave you that heartbreak. It's a compass. It points toward where I want you to invest yourself. Question 4. What's the next right thing? Not the next 10 things, he said. Not the 5-year plan. What's the one next right thing I'm asking you to do? I knew immediately. There was a crew member I'd been meaning to check on, a conversation I'd been avoiding, a financial decision I'd been putting off. That's your assignment, he said. Right there, that next, right thing. Do that and I'll show you the next one. But most people never do the next right thing because they're waiting for the big thing. The difference between calling and assignment. Let me clarify something, he said, because I think you're confusing calling with assignment. Your calling, he explained, is the big picture direction of your life. It's usually pretty simple. Love me. Love others. Make disciples. Use your gifts for my glory. That's your calling. It doesn't change much. Your assignment, he continued, is the specific expression of that calling in your current context. It changes as your context changes. Right now, your assignment involves this show, this platform, these people. 5 years ago, it was different. 5 years from now, it might be different again. People get paralyzed, he said, because they're trying to figure out their calling for the next 40 years when I'm just asking them to be faithful in their assignment for the next 40 days. What faithfulness actually looks like, so what does it mean to be faithful in my assignment? I asked. 3 things, he said. Excellence, availability, and sustainability. Excellence. Do your work well, he said. Not perfectly, not obsessively, but well, as if you're doing it for me. Because you are. When you're on set, he continued, be fully present, know your lines, serve the story, honor the craft. Don't phone it in because you think the world is ending. Show people what my kingdom looks like by how you work. Excellence, he said, is love made visible in your work. Availability. Be interruptible, he said. Hold your plans loosely. When I bring someone across your path who needs encouragement or help or prayer, be available. Don't be so locked into your agenda that you miss the divine appointments I've set up. But also, he added, don't be so available that you're never actually doing your work. There's a balance. That's why you need to ask me, is this mine? Not every need is your assignment. Sustainability. Pace yourself, he said. I'm not asking you to burn out for me. I'm asking you to burn steadily. Take Sabbath, rest, play, enjoy your life. I didn't save you from the world so you could be miserable in it. Sustainability, he said, is trusting that I'm God and you're not. You don't have to carry everything. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to be faithful in your little corner of the kingdom. The rapture in your work, here's how this connects to the rapture, he said. When I return, I want to find you working, not waiting, not hiding, not checked out, working. Remember what I said in the parable? He continued. The master returned and found his servants working. The faithful ones were actively investing what he'd given them. They weren't sitting around watching for his return. They were doing what he'd asked them to do. That's what readiness looks like, he said. Not constant vigilance about the timing of my return, but constant faithfulness in the work I've given you. If I return tomorrow, he said, I want to find you on set, doing your job with excellence, treating people with kindness, using your platform to point people toward me, not because you're trying to earn something, but because that's what I asked you to do. And if I don't return for 50 years, he continued, I want to find you still doing the same thing, still faithful, still working, still investing what I've given you. The assignment audit. Let me give you a simple audit, he said. Do this once a month. It will keep you aligned with your actual assignment instead of the assignment you wish you had. He gave me 5 questions. What's in my hand right now that I'm not using? Resources, gifts, opportunities I'm sitting on. Who's in front of me that I'm not seeing? People I'm overlooking or taking for granted. What's breaking my heart that I'm not addressing? Issues I care about but haven't acted on. What's the next right thing I'm avoiding? The obvious step I keep putting off. Where am I waiting for permission I don't need? Areas where I'm waiting for a sign instead of just obeying. Answer those 5 questions honestly, he said, and you'll never lack for clarity about your assignment. The freedom of knowing your assignment. Here's what happens when you embrace your actual assignment instead of waiting for some mythical calling, he said. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop feeling like you're missing out. You stop second-guessing whether you're in the right place. Because you realize, he continued, that wherever you are is exactly where I've placed you. And whoever is in front of you is exactly who I've given you to love. And whatever is in your hand is exactly what I've equipped you to use. That's freedom, he said. Not the freedom to do whatever you want. The freedom to do what I've asked you to do without constantly wondering if you should be doing something else. I sat there in that corner of the set, in full costume, with crew members walking past, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Clarity. I wasn't waiting for a calling. I was standing in an assignment. And the assignment wasn't complicated. Love the people in front of me. Do my work with excellence. Use what I've been given. Take the next right step. That was it. That was enough. The alarm went off again. 6 p.m. He's here. I am, he said. And so are you. Right where I want you. I stood up, straightened my costume, and walked back to set. Not to wait for the rapture, to work until it comes. It happened on a Sunday morning. I was sitting in church listening to a sermon about the rapture, and the pastor said something that made my stomach drop. When Jesus returns, there will be people who think they're ready who aren't. People who call him Lord, Lord, but he'll say, I never knew you. I'd heard that verse 100 times. But this time, it landed differently. What if that's me? I tried to shake it off. I'd been doing the practices. The 15 minutes every morning. The 5 inclusions throughout the day. The companionship, not just consultation. I was working my assignment. I was growing. But the question wouldn't leave. What if I'm fooling myself? That night I sat in my chair with the question I'd been afraid to ask out loud. Jesus, I said quietly, what if I'm not actually ready? What if I think I know you, but I don't? What if I'm one of those people who's going to be shocked when you return? The silence that followed felt heavy, not oppressive, just weighty. Then he spoke, and his voice was gentler than I expected. Good, he said. That's the right question to ask. The fear that protects versus the fear that paralyzes. There are 2 kinds of fear about readiness, he said. One keeps you close to me, the other keeps you from me. You need to know the difference. The first kind, he continued, is what the Bible calls the fear of the Lord. It's a healthy awareness that this matters, that I'm real, that there are consequences, that you can't just coast on assumptions. That fear drives you toward me, not away from me. The second kind, he said, is the fear that says, I'll never be good enough. I'll never measure up. I'm probably fooling myself. I should just give up. That fear drives you away from me. It makes you hide instead of return. It's not from me. Which one am I feeling? I asked. Right now? He said. The first one. You're not running from me. You're running toward me with an honest question. That's good fear. That's healthy fear. But it could become the second kind, he warned, if you let it spiral into condemnation instead of conviction. So let's address it directly. Let's talk about what readiness actually is and what it isn't. What readiness is not first, he said. Let me tell you what readiness is not. Because most people are measuring themselves against the wrong standard. Readiness is not perfection. You're never going to be sinless before I return, he said bluntly. If that's the standard, nobody's ready. Nobody's ever been ready. That's why I died, because perfection was impossible for you. But I still sin, I said. Sometimes the same sins over and over. Doesn't that mean I'm not really changed? It means you're human, he said. Change isn't the absence of struggle, it's the direction of your movement. Are you moving toward me or away from me? Are you returning when you fall or staying in the mud? Readiness, he said, is not about being perfect. It's about being honest. About knowing you need me. About coming back when you drift. Readiness is not certainty. You're never going to have absolute certainty about your salvation, he said. Not in the way you want. Not in the way that eliminates all doubt. Because faith, by definition, involves trust in what you can't fully see or prove. But what about assurance? I asked. The Bible talks about knowing you have eternal life. Assurance, he said, is different from certainty. Certainty is mathematical. Assurance is relational. You can be assured of someone's love without being able to prove it scientifically. You know it because you know them. That's what assurance is, he continued. Not the absence of all doubt, but the presence of a relationship that's real enough to trust even when you can't see the whole picture. Readiness is not intensity. You're not more ready because you pray louder or longer or with more emotion, he said. Some of the most ready people I know pray quietly, simply, without drama. Readiness isn't about how you feel, he continued. It's about who you're facing. You can feel nothing and still be ready if you're facing toward me. You can feel everything and still be lost if you're facing toward yourself. What readiness actually is. So what is readiness? I asked. 3 things, he said, and they're simpler than you think. Readiness is knowing. My voice. We've talked about this, he said, but it bears repeating. When I return, the people who are ready will be the people who recognize me, not because they studied me, Because they know me. The 5 wise virgins in the parable, he continued, weren't wise because they were smarter or more spiritual. They were wise because they knew the bridegroom. When he arrived, they recognized him. The foolish ones didn't. How do I know if I really know your voice? I asked. You're having this conversation, he said simply. You're asking the question. You're listening for the answer. That's knowing. My voice. Not perfectly, but really. Readiness is returning quickly. The difference between ready and not ready, he said, isn't whether you sin, it's what you do after you sin. Do you hide? Do you rationalize? Do you stay in the mud? Or do you return? The prodigal son was ready the moment he came to his senses and started walking home, he said, not when he arrived, not when he cleaned himself up, when he turned toward home. Readiness, he said, is the habit of return, fast repentance, quick confession, immediate course correction, not because you're trying to earn something, but because you know the way home. Readiness is doing the next right thing. We've talked about this too, he said. But it's worth repeating. Readiness isn't about having your whole life figured out. It's about being obedient to what I'm asking you to do right now. The faithful servant in the parable, he said, wasn't faithful because he had a perfect plan. He was faithful because he did what the master asked him to do. When the master returned, he found him working. That's readiness. The diagnostic questions. Let me give you some diagnostic questions, he said, not to condemn you, to clarify. Answer these honestly, and you'll know where you stand. Question 1. When you sin, what's your first impulse? Do you hide from me? He asked. Do you avoid prayer? Do you rationalize the sin or minimize it? Or do you come to me quickly, confess it, and ask for help? I thought about it honestly. It depends on the sin. Some I confess quickly, others I avoid for a while. That's honest, he said, and that's actually a good sign, because you're aware of the pattern. You're not blind to it. Now you can work on it. The person who's not ready, he continued, is the person who doesn't even notice they're hiding, who's so comfortable in their sin that they don't feel the conviction anymore. That's not you. Question 2. When you think about my return, what do you feel? Are you excited? He asked. Nervous? Terrified? Indifferent? Honestly? I said. A mix. Excited because I want to see you. Nervous because I'm not sure I'm ready. Not terrified. Not indifferent. That's a healthy mix, he said. The person who's not ready is either completely indifferent, I don't really think about it, or completely terrified. I know I'm going to be left behind. You're neither. You're engaged with the question. That's good. Question 3. Are you in relationship with me, or are you managing your behavior for me? This is the big one, he said. Are you trying to be good enough to earn my approval? Or are you responding to my love with gratitude and trust? I had to think about that one. I think both. Sometimes I'm responding to your love. Sometimes I'm trying to prove something. Again, he said, that's honest. And that's actually normal. The Christian life is a process of moving from performance to relationship. You're not going to get there completely before I return. But are you moving in that direction? I think so, I said. Then you're ready, he said simply. The difference between conviction and condemnation. Let me show you how to tell the difference between my voice convicting you and the enemy's voice condemning you, he said. Because this is where a lot of people get confused. Conviction is specific. When I convict you of sin, he said, I'm specific. You were harsh with that person. Go apologize. You're spending too much time on that app. Delete it. You've been avoiding that conversation. Have it. Conviction, he continued, always comes with a next step. It's not just you're bad. It's here's what's wrong and here's how to make it right. Condemnation is vague. When the enemy condemns you, he said, it's vague and crushing. You're not good enough. You'll never change. You're a failure. You're probably not even saved. No specifics, no next steps. Just wait. If you're feeling condemned, he said, that's not me. I don't condemn you. I convict you so I can free you. Conviction leads to hope. When I convict you, he said, even though it's uncomfortable, there's hope underneath it. Because you know I'm showing you the problem so I can help you fix it. It's like a doctor diagnosing an illness. It's not fun, but it's the first step toward healing. Condemnation leads to despair. When the enemy condemns you, he said, there's no hope, just shame, just you're worthless, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how you know it's not me. What to do when you're not sure? But what if I'm still not sure? I asked. What if I can't tell if I'm ready or not? Then do this, he said. It's simple. It's not a formula. But it works. Step 1. Come to me with the question. Don't hide from me because you're not sure, he said. Come to me with the uncertainty. Jesus, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I'm not sure if I really know you. I'm not sure if my faith is real. Help me. That prayer, he said, is evidence of readiness. Because the person who's not ready doesn't care enough to ask. Step 2. Confess what you know. Don't wait until you have perfect clarity about everything, he said. Just confess what you know. I know I need you. I know I can't save myself. I know I want to be yours. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm choosing you anyway. That's enough, he said. That's faith. Imperfect, uncertain, but real. Step 3. Do the next right thing. Don't sit in the uncertainty, he said. Act. Do the next right thing I'm asking you to do. Make the call, have the conversation, confess the sin, serve the person, read the scripture. Show up to the relationship. Action, he said, clarifies faith. You'll know you're mine not because you feel certain, but because you're acting like you're mine. The promise for the uncertain. Here's what I want you to know, he said, and his voice was so tender it almost broke me. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not setting up some impossible standard that only a few people can meet. I'm not playing gotcha with your salvation. I died for you, he continued. I pursued you. I called you. I'm holding on to you. And I'm not going to let go just because you have doubts or questions or struggles. The person who's not ready, he said, is the person who doesn't want me, who's comfortable without me, who's not interested in the relationship. That's not you. You're here, he said. You're asking the questions. You're doing the work. You're returning when you fall. You're listening for my voice. You're trying to be faithful in your assignment. That's readiness, he said. Not perfect, but real. I sat there for a long time after he finished speaking. The fear hadn't completely disappeared, but it had changed. It wasn't the paralyzing fear of I'm probably not ready. It was the healthy fear of this matters and I want to get it right. And somehow that felt like progress. One more thing, he said before the presence lifted. What? I asked. Stop trying to grade yourself, he said. That's my job. Your job is to stay in the relationship, to keep returning, to keep listening, to keep working. Let me worry about whether you're ready. I'm better at that than you are, he added with what I could only describe as a smile in his voice. I laughed. Actually laughed. Okay, I said. I'll try. Good, he said. Now go do the next right thing. And stop worrying about whether you're ready. Just be with me. That's what ready looks. It was 3 a.m. when the thought woke me up. Not a nightmare exactly. Just a sudden, sharp awareness that made sleep impossible. My brother, we'd grown up in the same house, heard the same gospel, sat in the same church pews. But somewhere along the way, he'd drifted. Not dramatically, not into anything scandalous. He just stopped engaging. Church became occasional, then rare, then never. Prayer became something he didn't talk about. Faith became a topic we avoided at family dinners. And lying there in the dark, I realized I was terrified. What if Jesus returns and my brother's not ready? I tried to pray, but the words felt stuck. How do you pray for someone's salvation when you're not even sure they think they need saving? How do you carry that burden without it crushing you? At 5:30 a.m., I gave up on sleep and went to my chair. I didn't even wait for the 15-minute routine. I just asked the question that was burning in my chest. Jesus, what about the people we love who might not be ready? How do I pray for my brother without losing my mind? The presence came quickly, like he'd been waiting for me to ask. This is the question that keeps my people up at night, he said quietly. And it's the burden I never asked you to carry alone. The burden you're not meant to carry first, he said. I need you to understand something. Your brother's salvation is not your responsibility. It's mine. I felt defensive immediately. But I'm supposed to care? I'm supposed to pray. I'm supposed to. You're supposed to love him, he interrupted gently. You're supposed to pray for him. You're supposed to be faithful in how you relate to him. But you're not supposed to save him. That's my job. He let that sink in. The burden you're carrying, he continued, is too heavy because you're trying to do my part and your part. You're trying to be the savior and the witness. You can't be both. But what if I'm not doing enough? I asked. What if there's something I should be saying or doing that would make the difference? Jonathan, he said, and there was such compassion in his voice, I love your brother more than you do. I pursued him before you were born. I'm pursuing him now. I'll be pursuing him until his last breath. You're not his only hope. You're not even his primary hope. I am. I felt something loosen in my chest, a weight I didn't realize I'd been carrying. So what is my part? I asked. 3 things, he said. Pray faithfully, live authentically, love unconditionally. That's it. That's your part. The rest is mine. How to pray for someone who's drifting. Let me teach you how to pray for your brother, he said, not in a way that makes you anxious, in a way that partners with what I'm already doing. Pray for his awareness, not his behavior. Most people pray for behavior change, he said. They pray for the person to stop doing this or start doing that. But behavior change without heart change is just religion. And religion doesn't save anyone. Instead, he continued, pray for awareness. Pray that I would open his eyes to see his need for me. Pray that he would become aware of the emptiness that only I can fill. Pray that he would recognize my voice when I speak to him. He gave me specific language. Jesus, open my brother's eyes to see you. Make him aware of his need for you. Let him feel the emptiness that only you can fill. Speak to him in ways he can't ignore. Pursue him with your relentless love. That's a prayer I always answer, he said, because it aligns with what I'm already doing. Pray for divine appointments, not dramatic interventions. People often pray for some big, dramatic moment, he said. A crisis that will wake the person up, a tragedy that will bring them to their knees. But that's not usually how I work. I work through ordinary moments, he continued. A conversation with a stranger, a song on the radio, a thought in the middle of the night, a memory that surfaces at the right time. I'm always setting up divine appointments. Pray that he doesn't miss them. The prayer he gave me, Jesus, orchestrate divine appointments in my brother's life. Bring people across his path who will point him toward you. Let him hear your voice in unexpected places. Don't let him miss the moments you're creating for him. Pray for his heart to soften, not his circumstances to change. People pray for circumstances to change, thinking that will lead to faith, he said. They pray for the job, the relationship, the health issue, the financial problem to be resolved. But sometimes I use hard circumstances to soften hard hearts. Don't pray for his life to get easier, he said. Pray for his heart to get softer. Pray that whatever he's going through would drive him toward me, not away from me. The prayer, Jesus, use whatever circumstances are in my brother's life to soften his heart toward you. Don't let comfort keep him from you. Don't let hardship drive him from you. Use everything to draw him closer. What to do when you see them. Now let's talk about your part when you're actually with him, he said, because prayer is only half of it. The other half is how you live in front of him. Be authentic, not preachy. The worst thing you can do, he said, is turn every conversation into a sermon. That doesn't draw people to me. It pushes them away. Instead, he continued, just be real. Let him see what a relationship with me actually looks like in your life. Not perfect, not pretending you have it all together. Just real. Talk about me the way you'd talk about anyone you're in relationship with, he said, naturally, casually. I was praying about this and felt like God said, I was reading this passage and it hit me. I've been learning this about Jesus lately. Don't make it weird, he said. Just make it real. Ask questions, don't give answers. Most people try to convince their loved ones to believe, he said. They argue. They debate. They try to prove me. But that rarely works. Instead, he continued, ask questions. Get curious about where he is, what he thinks, what he's struggling with, what he's searching for. He gave me examples. What do you think happens after we die? Do you ever think about God? What would it take for you to believe? What's your biggest question about faith? Questions. He said, open doors that statements close. and they show him you're interested in him, not just in converting him. Look for the open door. Don't force it. There will be moments, he said, when he's more open than usual. A crisis, a question, a moment of vulnerability. Those are the open doors. Walk through them gently, but don't force it, he warned. If the door's not open, don't try to kick it down. Just love him. Pray for him. Wait for the next door. I'm opening doors all the time, he said. Your job is to recognize them and walk through them with grace, not to create them through pressure. The 3 stages of drift. Let me help you understand where your brother might be, he said, because not everyone who's drifted is in the same place, and how you pray and relate to them depends on where they are. Stage 1. The distracted. These are people who still believe, he said, but they've gotten distracted. Life got busy. Other things became more important. They didn't reject me. They just drifted. Your brother might be here, he continued. He hasn't renounced his faith. He just isn't actively pursuing it. How do I pray for someone in this stage? I asked. Pray for reawakening, he said. Pray that I would stir up the gift that's in him. Pray that he would remember his first love. Pray that something would interrupt his drift and turn him back toward me. Stage 2, the disillusioned. These are people who believed, he said, but something hurt them or disappointed them. Maybe the church failed them. Maybe I didn't answer a prayer the way they wanted. Maybe they saw hypocrisy and it turned them off. They haven't rejected me as much as they've been wounded by me or by people who claim to represent me, he continued. How do I pray for them? I asked. Pray for healing, he said. Pray that I would heal the wound that's keeping them from me. Pray that they would encounter the real me, not the distorted version they've been hurt by. Pray that I would send someone who can help them separate me from their pain. Stage 3, the decided. These are people who have actively decided they don't believe, he said. They've examined the evidence, considered the claims, and concluded it's not true. Or they've decided they don't want it even if it is true. This is the hardest stage, he said, because they're not just drifting or wounded. They've made a choice. Can they still be reached? I asked. Of course, he said. I'm in the business of changing minds and softening hearts. But it usually takes longer, and it usually requires something significant to break through their certainty. How do I pray for them? I asked. Pray for crisis, he said, and I must have looked shocked because he quickly clarified. Not tragedy, he said. Crisis, a moment when their certainty cracks, when their self-sufficiency fails them, when they realize they need something they can't provide for themselves. I often use crisis to create openness and pray for patience, he added, because this stage can take years, sometimes decades, but I'm patient. And I'm asking you to be patient too. The hardest question. What if he never comes back? I asked quietly. What if I pray for him for years and he still doesn't turn to you? What if you return and he's not ready? The silence that followed was heavy. Then you'll grieve, he said finally, and I'll grieve with you. Because I don't want anyone to perish. I want everyone to come to repentance. Your brother's lostness would break my heart too. But, he continued, you can't let the fear of that outcome paralyze you now. You can't let the what if steal the what is. Right now, he's alive. Right now, there's still time. Right now, I'm still pursuing him. So pray, he said. Love him. Be faithful in your part, and trust me with the outcome, because the outcome is not in your hands. It's in mine, and my hands are better than yours. The prayer for the people we're afraid to lose. Let me give you a prayer, he said, for your brother, for anyone you're afraid to lose. Pray this as often as you need to. It will help you release the burden you're not meant to carry. He spoke slowly, and I wrote every word. Jesus, I bring you. Name, I love them, but you love them more. I'm afraid for them, but you're pursuing them. I don't know how to reach them, but you know exactly what they need. Open their eyes to see you, soften their heart to receive you. Orchestrate divine appointments they can't miss. Speak to them in ways they can hear. Use me if you want to, but don't depend on me. I'm not their savior. You are. Give me wisdom to know when to speak and when to be silent. Give me courage to be authentic and grace to be patient. And if they don't turn to you in my lifetime, I trust that you're not done with them. You pursue people to their last breath, so I'm releasing them to you. not giving up on them, just giving them to you, because they're yours before they're mine. And your love is better than mine. I trust you with them, even when I'm afraid, even when I don't understand. I trust you. In Jesus' name, Amen. I prayed that prayer for my brother that morning, and I felt the weight lift, not the concern. I still cared. I still wanted him to know Jesus. But the crushing burden of feeling like his salvation depended on me, that was gone. One more thing, Jesus said as the presence began to lift. What? I asked. Don't underestimate the power of your changed life, he said. Your brother is watching you. He's watching to see if this faith you have is real, if it makes you different, if it makes you better. The most powerful sermon you'll ever preach to him, he continued, is the one you live. So live well, love him well, and let me do the rest. I nodded. I will. Good, he said. Now go call him, not to preach, just to connect. Ask him how he's doing. Listen. Love him. That's your part today. I picked up my phone. It was 6:47 a.m. Too early to call, but I sent a text. Hey, been thinking about you. Want to grab coffee this week? No agenda, just want to catch up. 3 dots appeared. Then, yeah, that'd be good. Thursday? Thursday works. I typed back, and I prayed. Jesus, open a door. I'll walk through it. But you do the work only you can do. The question came up during a late-night conversation with a friend from church. We were sitting in my living room, coffee long gone cold, talking about everything and nothing the way you do when it's past midnight and the usual filters are down. Do you ever wonder what it will actually feel like? He asked suddenly. The rapture, I mean. Not the theology of it, the experience of it. I realized I'd spent so much time thinking about the when and the why that I'd never really considered the what. What would it actually feel like in that moment? That night, after he left, I sat in my chair and asked, Jesus, what will the rapture actually feel like? And why does it matter that we know? The presence that came felt different this time, not teaching, not correcting, almost excited. I'm glad you asked, he said, because most people have it completely wrong. And the wrong picture creates the wrong preparation. The picture we've been given. Tell me what you imagine, he said. When you think about the rapture, what do you see? I thought about it. Honestly, I see chaos. Planes falling from the sky because the pilots disappeared, cars crashing, people screaming. Panic, terror. The world suddenly realizing what happened. And it's too late. That's what most people imagine, he said, because that's what you've been shown. Movies, books, sermons designed to scare people into faith. But that's not what it will be like, he said. Not for you. Not for anyone who's mine. What will it be like? I asked. It will be like coming home, he said simply. The moment of recognition. Let me walk you through it, he said. Not to satisfy curiosity, but because understanding what it will feel like changes how you wait for it. The first thing you'll experience, he said, is recognition. You know how sometimes you hear a voice in a crowd and you immediately know who it is before you even turn around? He asked. That's what it will be like. You'll hear my voice, not audibly, necessarily, but you'll hear it, and you'll know immediately that it's me. Not, I think that might be Jesus, he continued. Not, I hope that's him. You'll know, the way sheep know their shepherd's voice, instantly, unmistakably. And in that moment of recognition, he said, everything else will become background noise. It won't matter where you are or what you're doing. You'll hear my voice and nothing else will matter. What will you say? I asked. Come, he said simply. Come home. Come to me. Come to where you've always belonged. The pull of love. The second thing you'll experience, he said, is what I can only describe as a pull, not a physical force. Something deeper, like gravity, but not gravity, like magnetism, but not magnetism. It will feel like every cell in your body suddenly remembers where it came from and where it belongs, he continued. Like you've been holding your breath your entire life and you're finally about to breathe. Will it hurt? I asked. No, he said. It will be the opposite of hurt. It will feel like every pain you've ever carried is being lifted. Every burden you've been carrying is being removed. Every weight you've been dragging is being released. People think the rapture will be violent, he said. a ripping away, a tearing from the world. But it won't feel like that to you. It will feel like relief, like finally being able to put down something heavy you've been carrying for too long. The transformation, the third thing, he said, is the transformation. And this is the part that's hard to describe because you don't have a reference point for it. In an instant, faster than you can blink, your body will change, he said. The mortal will put on immortality. The perishable will put on the imperishable. The weak will become strong. The broken will become whole. What will that feel like? I asked. Have you ever woken up from a nightmare? He asked. That moment when you realize it was just a dream and you're actually safe? That flood of relief? I nodded. It will be like that, he said, but infinitely more. You'll realize that everything you thought was so solid and real, your body, your limitations, your mortality, was actually the dream. And you're finally waking up to what's real. You'll feel strong, he continued. Not just physically, you'll feel whole in a way you've never felt whole. Every broken place will be healed. Every weak place will be strengthened. Every limitation will be removed. And you'll look at your hands, he said, and they'll be your hands. You'll still be you, but you'll be the you that you were always meant to be. The you without the damage, without the decay, without the death. The reunion, the fourth thing, he said, and his voice became even more tender, is the reunion. You'll see me, he said, face to face, not in a vision, not in your imagination, not through a glass darkly, face to face. And in that moment, he continued, you'll understand everything we've been talking about knowing, my voice, about relationship versus transaction, about companionship versus consultation. Because you'll see me, he said, and you'll recognize me, not as a stranger, not as someone you've heard about, as someone you know, someone you've been talking to, someone you've been walking with. What will you look like? I asked. Like myself, he said with what I could only describe as a smile. But that's not what will matter. What will matter is that you'll see in my eyes that I know you, that I've always known you, that I've been with you every moment of your life, even when you didn't realize it. And you'll see love, he said. Not abstract love, not theological love. Personal, specific, overwhelming love. For you, by name. You'll see that I didn't die for humanity in general, I died for you specifically. And you'll know it in a way that makes every doubt you ever had seem ridiculous. The joy, the fifth thing, he said, is joy. Pure, unfiltered, overwhelming joy. Not happiness, he clarified. Happiness is circumstantial, this will be joy. The kind of joy that comes from being exactly where you're supposed to be, with exactly who you're supposed to be with, doing exactly what you were created to do. It will be the joy of coming home after a long journey, he said, the joy of being found after being lost, the joy of being known after being hidden, the joy of being loved after being alone. And it will be shared joy, he continued, because you won't be alone. Everyone who's mine will be there, and you'll really see them for the first time. Not their masks, not their performances, not their carefully curated versions, their true selves, the people they were always meant to be. And you'll recognize them, he said, even people you never met on earth. You'll recognize them as family, as brothers and sisters, as people who belong to the same Father. What it won't feel like. Now let me tell you what it won't feel like, he said, because this is important. It won't feel like abandonment. You won't feel like you're abandoning the world, he said. You won't feel guilty about the people left behind. Not because you won't care about them, but because in that moment you'll understand my heart for them in a way you can't understand now. You'll know that I'm not done with them, he continued, that I'm still pursuing them, that there's still time, and you'll trust me with them in a way you can't fully trust me now. It won't feel like escape. You won't feel like you're running away from something, he said. You'll feel like you're running toward something, toward someone, toward me. The rapture isn't an evacuation, he said. It's a wedding procession. You're not fleeing a burning building. You're going to meet your bridegroom. It won't feel like the end. You won't feel like something is ending, he said. You'll feel like something is beginning. Like you've been in the waiting room your entire life and you're finally being called in. Death feels like an ending, he said. The rapture will feel like a beginning, the beginning of everything you were created for, the beginning of forever. Why this matters now. So why does it matter that you know this? He asked. Why am I telling you what it will feel like? Because, he continued, the picture you have of the rapture shapes how you wait for it. If you think it's going to be terrifying, he said, you'll wait in fear. If you think it's going to be chaotic, you'll wait in anxiety. If you think it's going to be violent, you'll wait in dread. But if you know it's going to be joyful, he said, you'll wait in hope. If you know it's going to be a reunion, you'll wait in anticipation. If you know it's going to feel like coming home, you'll wait in peace. And that changes everything, he said. Because people who wait in fear live differently than people who wait in hope. People who wait in anxiety make different choices than people who wait in peace. How to wait well. So how do I wait well? I asked. Knowing what I know now? 3 things, he said. Wait with anticipation, not dread. Think about the rapture, the way you think about seeing someone you love after a long absence, he said. Not with fear about the timing, with excitement about the reunion. When you think about my return, he continued, don't think about what you might lose. Think about what you'll gain. Don't think about the world you're leaving. Think about the person you're meeting. Wait with preparation, not procrastination. Don't put off living well because you think you have time, he said, but also don't live in panic because you think you don't. Just live faithfully. Do the next right thing. Love the people in front of you. Be faithful in your assignment. Prepare for my return, he said, the way you'd prepare for a wedding, not with fear, with joy, with attention to detail, with care about how you'll look and what you'll bring. Wait with presence, not distraction. Don't spend your waiting time obsessing about the timing, he said. Spend it with me, building the relationship, learning my voice, practicing my presence. Because when I return, he said, the people who are ready won't be the ones who predicted the date, they'll be the ones who know my voice, who recognize me, who've been walking with me all along. The practice of anticipation. Let me give you a practice, he said. Something you can do that will help you wait well. Once a week, he continued, I want you to spend 10 minutes imagining the rapture, not in a morbid way, not in a fearful way, in a joyful way. Sit quietly, he said. Close your eyes and imagine hearing my voice calling you. Imagine the recognition, the pull, the transformation, the reunion, the joy. Imagine seeing me face to face. He continued, imagine the look in my eyes when I see you. Imagine the embrace. Imagine the words I'll say. Well done. Welcome home. I've been waiting for you. Let yourself feel the anticipation, he said. Let yourself feel the joy. Let yourself feel the longing. And then, he said, open your eyes and go live your life. But carry that anticipation with you. Let it color how you see your day. Let it inform your choices. Let it shape your priorities. Because people who are genuinely anticipating my return, he said, live differently. They love more freely. They forgive more quickly. They hold things more loosely. They invest in what matters and release what doesn't. I sat there for a long time after he finished speaking. And for the first time in my life, when I thought about the rapture, I didn't feel fear or anxiety or dread. I felt longing, not to escape, not to avoid, but to see him, to be with him, to finally be home. And that longing changed something in me. It made the things I'd been worried about seem smaller. It made the things I'd been chasing seem less important. It made the people I loved seem more precious. Because if this could all end tomorrow, if I could hear his voice tomorrow, and everything would change, then what really mattered? The answer was simple: knowing him, loving people, being faithful in what he'd given me to do. Everything else was just noise. I opened my calendar and set a weekly reminder, imagine the reunion. And I decided that from now on, when people asked me if I was ready for the rapture, I wouldn't think about my theology or my behavior or my certainty. I'd think about his voice and whether I'd recognize it when I heard it, because that's what readiness really is. Not having all the answers, just knowing the one who does. It was early, morning, 5 days after the conversation about what the rapture would feel like. I was sitting in my chair, coffee in hand, watching the city wake up through my window. And I realized something. I had more clarity about the rapture than I'd ever had in my life, but I wasn't sure what to do with it. I knew the three things most believers missed. I knew how to recognize his voice. I knew the difference between companionship and consultation. I knew my assignment. I knew how to pray for people I was afraid to lose. I knew what the rapture would actually feel like. But knowing and doing are different things. Jesus, I said quietly, I don't want this to just be information. I don't want to be someone who knows all the right things but doesn't actually live differently. So what do I do with all of this? How do I actually live it? The presence came immediately, like he'd been waiting for exactly this question. Good, he said, because information without application is just noise. Let me give you a plan, not a complicated one. A simple, sustainable plan that will turn everything we've talked about into a way of life. I'm calling it the 30-day readiness reset, he said. It's not about adding more to your life. It's about reordering what's already there. 30 days to establish new patterns. 30 days to replace old habits with new ones. 30 days to move from knowing to doing. I grabbed my journal. Tell me. The framework. 3 anchors. The plan is built around 3 anchors, he said. 3 non-negotiables that will keep you grounded no matter what else is happening in your life. Anchor 1. The morning meeting. 15 minutes. Every morning. Before you do anything else, you meet with me, he said. Not to check a box, not out of obligation, but because relationship requires time. This is your bless, behold, bring time, he continued. 5 minutes each. It's where you tune your ear to my voice, orient your heart toward mine, and bring me your real self. What if I miss a day? I asked. Then you start again the next day, he said simply. No guilt, no shame, just return. The goal isn't perfection. It's consistency. If you do this 25 out of 30 days, you'll see transformation. Anchor 2, the 5 inclusions, 30 seconds each, throughout the day, 5 times. You include me in a moment, he said. Set alarms if you need to. 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m. When the alarm goes off, pause for 30 seconds and acknowledge my presence. Just 30 seconds? I asked. Just 30 seconds, he confirmed. Long enough to notice me. Short enough that you can do it no matter how busy you are. Say something. Anything. You're here. I need you right now. Thank you for this moment. Help me with this conversation. This trains you to live aware of my presence, not just in your morning meeting, all day long. Anchor 3, the evening examine, 5 minutes. Before bed, you review your day with me, he said. 2 questions. When did I sense your presence today? And when did I miss you today? Not to beat yourself up, he clarified. Just to notice. To pay attention. To learn to recognize me better. Write down your answers, he said, 1 sentence each. By the end of 30 days, you'll have a record of how you're growing in awareness of my presence. Week 1. Establishing the anchors. The first week, he said, is just about establishing the 3 anchors. Don't try to do anything else. Just focus on showing up to the morning meeting, pausing for the 5 inclusions, and doing the evening examine. That's it? I asked. That's it, he said. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. You're fighting against years of different patterns. Your brain will resist. Your schedule will fight back. You'll forget. You'll get distracted. That's normal. What do I do when that happens? I asked. You return, he said, without drama, without self-condemnation. You just return, set the alarm. Again, show up tomorrow. Keep going. He gave me a specific practice for week 1, daily focus, recognition. Each day, pay attention to one thing, he said. How do you recognize my voice? What does my presence feel like? How do you know it's me and not just your own thoughts? Write down what you notice, he continued. By the end of the week, you'll start to see patterns. You'll start to recognize my signature. Week 2, adding the assignment. The second week, he said, you keep the 3 anchors and add 1 more practice. The daily assignment. Each morning, after your bless, behold, bring time, he continued. Ask me 3 questions. What's the 1 verse I should carry today? Who's the 1 person I should serve today? What's the one piece of work I should do with excellence today? Write down the answers, he said. Then do them. Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. Just do the next right thing I'm showing you. Daily focus, obedience. This week is about learning to obey quickly, he said. Not perfectly, quickly. When you sense a nudge to text someone, to apologize, to give something away, to stop scrolling, do it immediately. Don't wait, don't analyze. Just obey. What if I get it wrong? I asked. Then you learn, he said. But you'll be surprised how often you get it right. And even when you don't, I honor the heart that's trying to obey. Week 3, practicing companionship. The third week, he said. You keep everything from weeks 1 and 2 and add a new dimension. Intentional companionship. This is where you start including me in moments that have nothing to do with asking for something, he said. Your coffee, your commute, your work, your meals, your mundane moments. Talk to me like I'm actually there, he continued, because I am. Not in some formal religious way. Just talk to me about what you're seeing, what you're thinking, what you're experiencing. Daily focus presence. This week is about practicing my presence, he said, not just acknowledging it, enjoying it. Let yourself be aware that you're not alone, that I'm with you, that I'm interested in your life. All of it, not just the spiritual parts. He gave me specific prompts. Morning coffee, this is good. Thank you for taste. What do you think about coffee? Commute. I'm stressed about this meeting. Want to walk into it with me? Work. I'm trying to figure out this scene. What do you think? Meal. This is really good. Thank you for the person who grew this food. Mundane moment. Even here, even in this boring moment, you're here. That's wild. Week 4. Living ready. The fourth week, he said, is about integration. You keep all the practices from the previous weeks, but now you add the readiness perspective. Each day, ask yourself, if Jesus returned today, would I be glad about how I spent my time? How I treated people? What I invested in? Not to create anxiety, he clarified, to create clarity, to help you see what really matters. Daily focus. Anticipation. This week, practice anticipating my return, he said, not with fear, with joy, with longing. Once this week, he continued, spend 10 minutes imagining the rapture the way we talked about, hearing my voice, the recognition, the pull, the transformation, the reunion, the joy. Let yourself feel the anticipation, he said. Then carry that feeling into your day. Let it inform your choices. Let it shape your priorities. The daily rhythm, what it actually looks like. Let me show you what a typical day looks like when you're living this. He said, 6 a.m., morning meeting, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Bless, Jesus, you are welcome, you are wise. You are worth my day. 5 minutes. Behold. Read until one phrase catches you. Stay with it. 5 minutes. Bring name what you'd hide. Confess. Ask for help. Ask the 3 questions. Verse, person, work. 9 a.m. First inclusion, 30 seconds. Alarm goes off. Pause. You're here. I'm not. Alone. Help me with this morning. 12 p.m. Second inclusion, 30 seconds. Alarm goes off. Pause. You're here. Thank you for this day so far. Give me strength for what's next. 3 p.m. Third inclusion, 30 seconds. Alarm goes off. Pause. You're here. I'm tired. Be my energy. 6 p.m. Fourth inclusion, 30 seconds. Alarm goes off. Pause. You're here. Thank you for this work. Help me transition to evening well. 9 p.m. Fifth inclusion, 30 seconds. Alarm goes off. Pause. You're here. Thank you for this day. Prepare my heart for rest. 10 p.m. Evening examine. 5 minutes. When did I sense your presence today? When did I miss you today? Write 1 sentence for each. Total time investment, 25 minutes of focused time, plus 2.5 minutes of brief pauses throughout the day. That's it, he said. Less than half an hour of focused time. But it will transform your entire day because it reorients everything around relationship with me. The obstacles you'll face. Let me prepare you for the obstacles, he said, because they're coming, and if you know what to expect, you won't be surprised when they show up. Obstacle 1. Resistance. Your flesh will resist this, he said. You'll wake up and not want to do the morning meeting. You'll hear the alarm and want to ignore it. You'll feel like it's not working, or it's too hard, or it's not worth it. That's normal, he continued. That's your old patterns fighting to stay alive. Don't be surprised by it, just push through it. The resistance gets weaker the more you practice. Obstacle 2. Distraction. You'll sit down for your morning meeting and your mind will wander, he said. You'll think about your to-do list. You'll remember something you forgot to do. You'll get a text notification. That's normal too, he said. Just gently bring your attention back. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Just return. Again and again. That's the practice. Obstacle 3. Discouragement. You'll have days when you miss the morning meeting, he said. Days when you ignore all 5 alarms. Days when you forget the evening examen. And you'll feel like you're failing. You're not failing, he said firmly. You're learning. Progress isn't linear. You'll have good days and bad days. What matters is that you keep returning, that you don't give up. Obstacle 4. Doubt. You'll have moments when you wonder if this is real, he said. If I'm really speaking, if this is really working, if you're just talking to yourself. That's normal, he said. Faith always involves doubt, but don't let the doubt stop you from practicing. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep obeying. The doubt will diminish as the relationship deepens. The markers of progress. How will I know if this is working? I asked. What should I be looking for? Look for these markers, he said. They're signs that you're growing in readiness. Marker 1. Increased peace. You'll notice that you're less anxious, he said, not because your circumstances changed, but because your awareness of my presence increased. You'll feel more grounded, more stable, more at peace. Marker 2. Quicker returns. You'll notice that when you sin or drift, you return faster, he said. Instead of hiding for days, you'll confess within hours. Instead of rationalizing, you'll repent. That's growth. Marker 3. More natural obedience. You'll notice that obedience becomes more natural, he said. The nudges to text someone, to apologize, to give something away, you'll act on them more quickly. With less internal debate. Marker 4. Greater awareness. You'll notice that you're more aware of my presence throughout the day, he said. Not just during your morning meeting or when the alarms go off. You'll find yourself naturally including me in moments, talking to me, noticing me. Marker 5. Different priorities. You'll notice that your priorities shift, he said. Things that used to seem important will seem less so. Things you used to overlook will seem more significant. You'll care more about people and less about stuff. More about character and less about comfort. After the 30 days, what happens after 30 days, I asked. Do I just keep doing this forever? The 30 days establish the pattern, he said. After that, it becomes your new normal. You won't need the structure as much because the practices will have become habits. But yes, he continued, you keep doing this, not rigidly, not legalistically, but as a rhythm of life, as a way of staying connected to me, as a way of living ready, and you adapt it as needed, he said. Maybe you adjust the times, maybe you add practices, maybe you simplify. The structure serves the relationship, not the other way around. The invitation. So here's my invitation, he said. Start tomorrow. Day 1 of your 30-day readiness reset. Set your alarms right now, he continued. Put the morning meeting on your calendar. Get a journal for your evening examen. Tell someone you're doing this so they can encourage you. And then just start, he said. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just start. Messy. Imperfect. But start. Because readiness, he said, isn't about getting everything perfect before I return. It's about being in relationship with me when I do. And relationship is built through consistent, daily, ordinary practices. It's built in morning meetings and brief pauses and evening reflections, he continued. It's built in obedience to small nudges and faithfulness in daily assignments and awareness of my presence in mundane moments. It's built, he said, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one return at a time. I sat there with my journal open, looking at the blank page that would become day 1. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., the first morning meeting. I felt nervous, excited, hopeful. One more thing, he said. What? I asked. Don't do this alone, he said. Invite someone to do it with you. Text them right now. Ask them to join you for the 30 days. Check in with each other. Encourage each other. Share what you're learning. Because readiness, he said, is better together. I picked up my phone and texted 3 people. Starting a 30-day practice tomorrow. Want to join me? I'll send you the details. All 3 responded within minutes. Yes. And I realized this wasn't just about me getting ready anymore. It was about all of us learning to live ready together until he comes.